The CNBC All-America Economic Survey finds that inflation remains the #1 concern in this election, and that's because a large chunk of the electorate still believes prices are rising as fast as they have been, and they're losing ground to those price increases. Take a look at our first finding here in this poll. 76% say prices are still rising, with 45% saying they're rising at a faster rate than they were. 32% believe that they're leveling off. 22% say overall they're either leveling off, with 6% saying they're going down. Take a look, though, at the actual inflation numbers that we talk about every day. You can see we peaked at 9.1% in 23, and now, for what it's worth, we're down to 2.4, 2.5% on the inflation numbers. That's not what a big chunk of the public is feeling. So it's still rising, but of course at a slower clip. The trouble is Americans largely believe they're losing ground to these price increases. 7% say that their incomes are going up faster. 27% saying their incomes are staying about even. But here's the big number. 63% believe they are falling behind. And who's falling behind? We'll take a look. Republicans, 77%. Independents. So I would say this is a big a politically driven number, but the independents are really saying that's true as well, with 45% of Democrats believing they're falling behind. That has a big impact on the outlooks for the economy and the assessment of the economy. 73% say the economy is fair or poor. 26%, a little bit better, saying it's excellent or good. But now take a look at what people are saying about their personal financial situation. 48% say it's excellent or good. 51% said fair or poor. We know inflation, Scott, has a lasting economic impact. We might see, come the election a couple days from now, that it also has a political impact. Scott?
It's so interesting on a number of levels. Can certainly understand why people would suggest they're not feeling the inflation decline because prices are still elevated.
The level is, yeah.
But in other parts of this All-America survey that you did, Trump is viewed better on the economy by plus 13% nationally, even though many of his policies are deemed to be inflationary, whether it's an expansion of the deficit because of renewing tax cuts or instituting pretty stiff tariffs, which most say would be inflationary. There's a disconnect in there somewhere, and I don't know where it is.
Well, there's very little that former President Trump has said that leads me or other economists to believe he would have a positive effect on inflation. He has this notion that he's spoken about, which is driving down energy prices, as if the American energy industry needs much lower prices now. And Harris, she seems to be more in line with paying for her spending, even though that's a promise not necessarily always kept. So there is a disconnect there in terms of the difference on inflation. I think the story here is we had inflation during the Biden-Harris time period, or during that tenure. And so therefore we blame Biden-Harris, and anybody else in this situation is going to be better. And I will say this, Scott, after I listened to the two debates and have been following the campaigns, I do not hear a good response from the Harris team about the inflation issue. I don't hear a good response about the immigration issue. Those are two really important issues, and I have not heard a response. To say the Inflation Reduction Act is really something that does not appear to resonate with the American people.
Well, the only person who has opined consistently, I'll say, on the issue of inflation is the Fed chair himself, as you know from sitting in the room so many times, who blames it almost squarely on supply chain disruptions from the pandemic. But to your point, certainly one side of the political aisle has had a hard time articulating their own beliefs on why this has all happened.
So the actual inflation story is a complicated one that defies, a quick soundbite. It is true that a lot of it was supply side. It is also true we had very easy monetary policy for an extended time period. It is also true that the Biden administration spent a lot into that pandemic, believing that there would be far worse outcomes. That helped fuel it as well. So it's not all Biden, but it's partially Biden. And then they will come forward and say, well, there's the Inflation Reduction Act, which helped in a couple quick areas, but ultimately led to more spending. So it's very hard for them to come forward and say, we addressed inflation very forcefully. Yeah, they did some things, but ultimately it took a long time on the supply side. And now we do see, by the way, real wages catching up. They've been running pretty strong, actually, the last year. Some of the best actual real wage increases in the past 10 years have been in the past year, but that does not seem to be resonating in the results of our survey, Scott.
Yeah, really interesting. Thanks for bringing that to us, Steve.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
My
That's
pleasure.
Steve Liesman joining us.